agree with Alan Greenspan, we ought to just eliminate the debt ceiling. Oh, absolutely, we do.
The ability of almost every working American to access more credit than they should have been able to masked the underlying fact that lower and middle class incomes were not rising.
That's not a tenable strategy. Isn't now the time to eliminate it? Oh, it would have been time a long time ago to eliminate it.
Let's put aside terrorism. Let's talk only about our own homegrown animals that are patrolling America right now. So it goes down to the simplest thing. Be prepared, be vigilant.
The Ballers Rebellion. This weekend, we saw the Ballers Rebellion, right? All the biggest and the strongest came out. And the Colin Kaepernick, he sat on the bench and he said, "No, I will not. No, I will not pledge allegiance to this flag because this country is unfair and everyone is picking on me and my people. Liberty and justice for all." I didn't even know he knew the words to the national anthem, but apparently he did. So Dwayne Wade as well came out, right? Dwayne Wade came out. There's the issues in Chicago. This brilliant man, he brought up an incredible point that there's murder in Chicago. Very sad for your loss, Dwayne. I mean, that's terrible, right? I would hate to be a part of something as terrible as that. But this idea that this is a new issue is incredible to me. The idea that this is something that we must, that suddenly the black population in the ghettos and in urban areas are at risk. And it's based on the police? Now, don't get me wrong, we do have an epidemic in this nation of police who are, and I don't know that we've diagnosed what that is yet. I think it's the stress of life. I think it's the stress of what it takes to do that job. I think there's definitely racism built in some parts of the police force in some places across the country. Sure. Why would that be hard to believe? Why would that be hard to believe? But this idea that we're going to take all these steps and these big people with all these millions and all of a sudden the concern. And all of a sudden the concern, right? We've made it through the crack epidemic. We've made it through the children of the crack epidemic in these urban societies. We've seen these black communities ripping each other apart for how long? This is not a poke or a stab at the black community either. This is making a point and recognizing what the reality is. And if we really want to talk about helping them, if we really want to talk about making it better, if people with millions of dollars want to come out and do something that can positively affect the situation for young black children in America, where you been? Where have you been? Where have you been, Colin? Dwayne, where you been? Chicago has been a murder hole. It's been like Treblinka for the last 3 years, right? Record-setting murders. One year after another, after gun violence and stabbings and shootings and shit. Where you been, dude? The same thing with Colin. Where have you been? If you're worried about the threats in these urban areas and you think that the greatest threat that they face is the police, well, it's a convenient story for you then, and it makes you look real good and it sells a lot of jerseys. And I don't want to look at it that way, but maybe that's all it is. A part of me thinks that's all it is. A part of me thinks that's all that it is. Because I look at the situation. Come on, you tell me what crack has done to these tarnished black communities. You tell me what crack has done, right? The murder, the drugs, the drug dealers, the drive-bys, the stray bullets. How many have died on the backs of this epidemic, right? But what is the music that's lauded in these communities and by these same black leaders? It's hip-hop music. It's music that is literally built up from people who sold drugs in these communities. Not all. Of course, not all rappers sold drugs. Not all rappers sold crack. But let me tell you what, there's a good chunk, and probably some of the ones in the CD cases of Colin Kaepernick and Dwayne Wade got their legs under them from selling drugs on the street corners of these same these same city streets where we're crying out that there's an epidemic of Black Death from the police. This is not dispelling that the police are doing things wrong, because we know it. We've all seen the videos, right? There's no getting around what's happening with police. We've seen the videos. We've seen the men held down and shot, strangled, thrown to the ground. We've seen the guy in North Carolina get shot in the back. We know what the police are doing. They're unjust as well. But this idea, man, that this is something new, right? The idea that the president and the Holders and the Sharptons and the Jacksons, where have they been? Where have they been for the last 20, 30 years in these black communities that are cannibalizing themselves? Part and parcel, why the police have to go in there and be on edge and be insane already. I mean, can you imagine having to drive into these neighborhoods where people are getting shot up with AK-47s? And when you walk into these neighborhoods that are war-torn, all you hear is music about people getting shot up with AK-47s. Look, I like hip-hop. I like rap. I do. I listen to it a lot. But this idea that... I mean, it is music born of the death of blacks. That's what it is. I mean, we can color it any way you want. Well, it's specific to our culture, and it's very much important to our whatever, right? It's written by people who have cost lives in the community, and those people are standing on stages making millions of dollars while the oppressed, right? The oppressed are still sitting in tiny Section 8 homes, wishing they could be something, wishing they could do something, ducking cars, ducking bullets on a day-to-day basis. That's the reality. If you want to pin the problems of this society on, 20, 30 cops, then, I mean, that's one way to look at it, but you're going to be in the same boat. And I'm just bothered by the fact that they come out and they make it an issue. You know what I mean? Now it's an issue all of a sudden. Somebody close to you gets killed, or somebody gets killed by a cop in one of these neighborhoods. These neighborhoods need help, man. These kids, they need so much help. They need mentoring. They need people like Dwayne Wade. They need people to come out and mentor these kids, not take them to strip clubs, not get in the car and put Lil Wayne on with them, but to take them out and show them the world, show them what's possible, show them what a college is, show them what, you know what I mean? This is what these kids need in this world. But it was the Ballers Rebellion this weekend, right? The Ballers came out to make their point, to make their big point. And for me, it fell on deaf ears. Because the point is that these black communities are under extreme duress, and, there's a lot of people from those communities that are just turning a blind eye until it's convenient and until it makes sense for them. You know, where's Al? Al, where's the Reverend? Where's he at? He should be touring black communities on a day-to-day basis. On a daily basis, he should be in a black community telling them to stop with the drugs, stop with the killing one another. Let's put this rap music, let's get this rap music in check. We don't need to glorify shooting one another, stabbing one another, killing women, killing children, selling drugs. Let's not glorify that. They have a right to, yes, First Amendment, but for the betterment of that group, see, here's the difference. I can listen to rap music, and I can drive home to my house, and I can get into the house, and I hug my kids, and I live in the woods, you know what I mean? And I don't have to worry about stray bullets. That's the difference. The difference is maybe in a community like that, we shouldn't have money pouring out of that community to go see the same drug dealers that are costing, well, whatever. I'm not going to go on anymore. You get the point, right? The Ballers Rebellion. The Ballers Rebellion, they came out to make a big to-do about the rights and about the freedoms and about the oppression. Come on. Let's be real about what's happening in this country today. Can we be real about it? All right. Can we be real about it and not worry about ESPN and the ESPYs? That's all I ask. Let's be real about what's happening. I don't have much time. I don't have much show. I don't have much space. I don't have much of anything. Today, I have a very little bit of a little bit. A very minuscule amount of a minuscule amount. I don't have a lot of time. This will be a short show. And I'll have to get done what I can get done with the time. That's all there is to it. The other thing I want to talk about, very briefly, is that my son and I, well, actually it was my whole family, kids and wife, we headed over to the Science Museum Saturday, just out of the sheer desire to want to go do something. It was a nice day. We got in there. We stopped to eat at one of my favorite restaurants, Chicken Fiesta. Just a phenomenal chicken rotisserie. The food is just excellent. It's top notch. Probably my favorite restaurant right now, period. Nothing fancy, nothing sit down with tablecloths. No, it's you go in there and you get a plate full of food and you eat it and you realize that death doesn't seem so bad. And maybe you'll just eat this steak for the rest of your life until you croak. Now, what I didn't know was that there was something happening at the Science Museum that day called Preparathon. The Preparathon was happening at the Science Museum. And the Preparathon was a further reaffirmation that preparedness is mainstream. Preparedness has gone mainstream, okay? It has. That's it. Being prepared has gone mainstream, right? There's just too many of us in too small areas, these urban areas, these cities. Preparedness is mainstream, and it has to be. It's not even a matter of trend. It's not even a matter... It's part of what I talked about with the training of Americans, right? This is part of the training of Americans. Being prepared for natural disasters and terrorism it's just what it is. It's the reality, and we have to be real about it. And to see all these people, I mean, it was not, these were regular people who showed up. They got to see incident command centers. They got to go on fire trucks, donate blood. They got to see how electricity can be made using a bike and an alternator. They got to see, well, one of the things I did with my son, we created a water filter. We were building water filters from various different items to see which ones would filter water better. Amazing, right? We made these a solar still, all types of things that were just radical 2-3 years ago, 4 years ago. Radical national what was the stupid National Geographic Doomsday Preppers stuff, right? That we were doing, that we were watching take shape before our very eyes. And no one even blinked. Everyone's, very good idea. Yes, we should be prepared for these things. And the whole Science Museum was free. It was full. It was full of people. It was lovely. It was a brilliant situation. It was beautiful in every way. And I'm not going to expound on it very far, but I want you to understand that this is the reality, guys. Preparedness is mainstream. It's what needs to happen. It's what's going to happen. People are going to be trained, and they're going to be prepared. They're going to put water away. They're going to do all these things. And we're just ahead of the game. But it's the future. It's very important. Look, I know it gets ugly sometimes, and you feel helpless. But remember, you're part and parcel of this whole thing. I mean, this country will rise and fall based on your ability to act or not. So listen to I Am Liberty on preparedbroadcasting.com every Wednesday, 9 p.m. Eastern. Get empowered. Look in the mirror and tell yourself, I am liberty. I'll see you there. Welcome back. Just so you realize, folks, this is these are the last days to go to IamLibertyShow.com and join the Survive the Bug Out Challenge that is happening Friday night into Saturday for this Labor Day weekend. I'm sure many people have plans. We probably picked a rough weekend to get it done, but we've got contestants and we're going to have some fun. You go over to IamLibertyShow.com. There's a win tab on the right. Click the win tab and enter. And take the journey with us Friday night. The journey Friday night is an important one. It's going to be an exciting one. I've got a huge weekend coming, but this is just the beginning of many physical challenges. And on the live show Wednesday, 9 p.m. at PrepperBroadcasting.com, we're going to talk about prepper physical challenges. We're going to do a whole show on physical challenges because I think what I'm going to try to do is aim to do a few of these a year, because I think these are really the battlegrounds for people looking to be prepared. You know, make a plan, build a kit, do the whole thing. But if you really want to take it to the next level, it's to take it out there and give it a try. You know, what can your kit sounds good, it looks good on paper, it looks good in the physical. What can it do? What can you pull off with it? What kind of disasters can you mitigate with that kit? And those are the questions that I want to answer for you and for myself. Don't get me wrong. You know, I'm not Mother Teresa. In all that I do, okay? Can I be honest with you? In all that I do, there's always a piece of it that's for me. That's how this whole show started. That's how this whole journey started. And it'll always be that way. You know, how's the quote? The old quote, if I'm not for myself, who will be? Right? If I'm only for myself, who am I? If I'm not for myself, who will be? So that's an important piece of this thing as well for you to understand. You know, I hate to hear those people who get on talk shows, radio shows, TV shows, and tell you that I just want to help people. I'm just out here just solely to help. I just want to help. That's my only motivation in life, is to help. Oh, okay, sure. How about that mortgage? How about that mortgage or that college payment or what? You know, I like you to feel, and I hope that you do. I hope when you come in underneath the I Am Liberty roof and pull a bar stool up, I hope that you feel like you're talking to someone genuine. You know, I hope you feel like this isn't an act. I hope you feel like this is me. Because it is me. And that's what makes it so fun, and that's why I've been doing it forever. Because it's me. It's easy. You know, it's easy to strike up the record and go to work and do what I do. And the good news is, the way my life is going, there's going to be more of an emphasis on the I Am Liberty show. There's going to be more marketing. I'm going to be spending more money on spreading this show around. And with our message, you know what I mean? With our message of being prepared, with our message of staying physically active and healthy, protecting the Second Amendment. I mean, what really is the I Am Liberty message, and how has it evolved over time? It has evolved, right? Being prepared, one of the core messages. Being physically fit and active, one of the core messages. The love of family, right? The love of the American family, one of the core messages. The community, the prepared community. All of these things that we push here at I Am Liberty on a weekly basis. These are things that need to be spread around, and that's what we're going to do. We're going to spend money on marketing the show. We're going to spend more time marketing the show. And that's what has to be done if you want to grow a business. And that's what life is all about, right? That's the American dream. And no matter how many people tell me it's dead, no matter how many people tell me the American dream has been strangled and it's impossible to achieve, and you won't, and you can't, and you shouldn't, and you never will, and the American dream is hopeless, and only the rich people can make something happen in this nation, well, it's just another motivating factor for me. It's another reason for me to make it on my own. That's it. Just to prove them people wrong. You know, to prove those people wrong so that they can see. There's men and women all over this nation of every race and ethnicity and religion who are making it. Right? Who are making it. Who started off in a world, and this is the important thing, right? You start in a world where your family and your teachers, they tell you go get a good degree and get a good job. And I'm living proof that, yeah, sure, go get a degree, get a good job. And then you know what? When you're tired of it, get a new job. Start a different career. Do something different. And when you're tired of that, maybe you start another career. And you do that, as long as you're happy doing that. Right? This idea that I got to be a steel worker from now until I'm 90, and then I retire and get a small pension from the company. Maybe there's some comfort to that. Maybe there's some good to that. But the world that I've created, right? I came out of school. I said, okay, I'm going to be a chef. That's what I'm going to do with my life. That's what I want to do. And you know what? I hit a wall. I had a family. I said to myself, this isn't working. This isn't working anymore. I can't be a chef. So I couldn't. So I had to change. Right? Then I had to change. I had to say, all right, I got to find something else to do. I started working for the food bank. I started working in a warehouse. I started figuring out how I could fit into this place. How can James Walton fit into this place and be effective? And I worked hard, and I spent a lot of hours crafting my role and figuring out how I could improve the place. And now this is where I sit. And you know what? Another evolution is happening. Another evolution is happening. My body and my mind are both saying, look, it's time to do it on your own. It's time to do it on your own. You have to take your love of writing and you have to turn it, you have to capitalize on it. And man, is it working. Man, is it working. You know, this thing, I keep feeling like it's a fluke. I keep feeling like it's going to fall out from under me and I'm just going to go weeks and weeks without work and this whole plan is going to get turned on its head. It's not happening. You know, right now, I'm in a place where I'm only limited. My income is only limited by the time I have to spend on it. Hour here, hour there, late night here, early morning. The amount of money that I'm capable of making right now is only limited by the time. You know, the client base, all that. And that's exactly where I want to be. And there's something so warm and lovely about being exactly where you want to be. There is something so comforting about good plans working out. You know, which comes back to preparedness. It all comes back to preparedness. I can't talk too long because we're at the end of the month, and to be honest with you, I'm running out of space on my Libsyn account. I don't even know if I have enough space to post this show. If not, it'll go into the archives, and one day I'll pull it out and we'll listen to it. I have several shows sitting in the archives, but it's important conversation. Right, you got to understand. Just because your mom and your mom's mom and your mom's mom's mom worked at one place their whole life, you don't have to do that. That's not how this thing works. That's not how this game is played. This game is played based on your limitations and your abilities. That's it. You're capable of anything.